Hello, you beautiful nerds. Welcome to the Drunk Banthas podcast, where we talk about sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and all of the popular art that we love. Also, we do it drunk. I'm joined, as always, by my brother Bill.
What up, y'all?
Yo. Today, we are talking, we're continuing our conversation about the Matrix trilogy. Continuing with Matrix Reloaded, Matrix number 2. Is that gonna...
I don't know. Most likely it will. So for you all who are listening, that was a train that just went by. The gold line just drove by.
Yeah.
And it may or may not be on this podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, if you got a little bit of, if you heard that train, you know, you get a little bit of the behind the scenes action.
Yeah, you get some of that LA life, baby.
Well, that's behind the curtain.
That's what it is to live in LA. You might hear somebody get shot later, and you also may hear fireworks and or police or ambulance.
Yeah. Just please ignore the screams of laughter and or horror in the background. But today we're gonna be, we're gonna be talking about the Matrix trilogy, talking about Matrix Reloaded, second film. As everybody knows, Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions were filmed at the same time. It came out during the year of the Matrix. So like,
was that like the Chinese New Year, or the Year of the Tiger, or some shit?
Well, that was like their like whole advertising thing where they were like, apparently the original plan was to have the movies like come out at the exact same time. Like you were like supposed to go into the movie theater, see Reloaded, come out, and then go see Revolutions. Like that was the Wachowskis' plan initially. But then like, you know, producers being producers,
studios being like, well, we want to get 2 checks.
Right. You know what sounds better than 1 big check? 2 big checks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's basically...
You know, movies come out one at a time. I understand how studios was looking at them crazy, but I would have liked for that to happen. As a fan...
Yeah, that would have been cool. It would have been the first time that kind of shit had happened. And also, like, they probably would have gotten more money in the long run, too, because... there was like, you know, some lukewarm reactions to this second movie. So like the third box office like wasn't as big as the second one. The second box office was the biggest of all the 3.
Yeah,
so they probably could have just got like just twice as much money.
Yeah, you can definitely make an argument that would have made them more money had they just listened to the Wachowski brothers.
Yeah, like
one brother. The one Wachowski guy and the other Wachowski used to be a guy.
They're both trans. They both trans.
Oh, they both went over to being trans? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, so the Wachowski not sisters?
The Wachowskis. Yeah.
They're the Wachowskis.
Yeah.
This just got confusing for me. I'm sorry, listeners, viewers. I apologize.
But this movie is more, it's definitely obviously very different. I mean, there was like a big, I think it was a couple-year gap between this one and the first one. This movie, you know, the first movie opened up the world's eyes to like the fact that they were living in a fake reality. And this second and third movie had the rough task of saying like, well, what do you do after that? This film does focus a lot more on the espionage, stealthy spy, like kind of revolution stuff.
Like how do these people live their day-to-day life?
Right. Yeah. What do the revolutionaries look like? Like, you know, rather than outside of this one ship on the Nebuchadnezzar. What did you think of? Like, do you remember how you felt when you first saw the movie in the theaters?
Man, yeah, I love the motherfucker. Look, a lot of y'all out there. You saw the first one. You loved it so much. You were like, this is my favorite movie ever. This is the best thing ever. And then you went and saw the second one, and you were like, well, that wasn't that great. Why didn't they answer all my questions? And then the third one came out, and you're like, wait a minute. They didn't answer any of my questions, and they gave me more questions. This was a terrible movie. Well, I felt the complete opposite of all of you. I felt like, wow, this is an amazing movie with the first one. And then in the second one, I was like, oh my God, how could they get better than the first one? That was crazy. And then the third one, I was like, whoa, they just transcended storytelling as we know it.
Yeah, that like it's interesting that the Matrix trilogy. You had to compare it to Star Wars before. I definitely think that that's true in the sense that one is obviously well beloved and changed movie history. But I don't think nobody hates Matrix as much as Matrix fans because it does have a lot of backlash, and you get 10 people in the room who seen the Matrix movies. You have 10 different opinions on, especially these last two movies. I guess it's pretty universally everybody loves the first one, but there's mixed feelings about the second one. I do remember really liking the second and third ones when I saw them in the theaters. The second one that came into theaters. I remember not really caring for the third one, like specifically the ending of the third one. But like just talking about the second one, yeah, like I remember really liking it when I first saw it, and watching it again. Like for some reason, I just I remember thinking I don't really like the last two, and rewatching the second one. I remember like there are a lot of things that I really love about it, and I was like, oh man, this is like a really great ride. But like there are things I don't like about it, and I think that's I guess me.
Well, what do you don't like about it? You said it 7 times. What do you not like about it?
I mean, we'll get into like the different things. I guess one of the to get into I guess like the
what do you not like about the movie?
Well, I just like I feel like the storytelling is like a little bit clunky at times. Like specifically the things with the Merovingian, the French guy, and
I never knew. I don't even know how people know what his name is. I think they said it like one time, the Merovingian, and then nobody ever says that again. They just say the Frenchman, and then I'm like, how do people remember shit like that?
Yeah, right. Like people, I'm amazed by.
But yeah, the Merovingian
encyclopedic knowledge of some of this.
So
stuff.
you don't like the Merovingian?
Yeah, the Merovingian was a lot. First of all, he was like, I didn't really care for much of his dialogue. He was doing a lot of philosophizing, spattering about bullshit. When really, like, this is just supposed to be the guy that gets you to the next guy. And they spent a lot of time on that. I feel like it slowed the momentum down. And the weird orgasm cake, what the fuck was that about? I really didn't understand how sexual things were in this movie.
Yeah, man, you got caught up on one layer of something and then were not able to get past that part and understand the level of explanation that's taking place in that scene. They're explaining to you essentially what's going to take place when he meets the creator of the Matrix. What's that dude called?
The architect.
The architect. Yeah. So like I didn't watch it recently as you have, but I have watched it recently, and I remember when I was watching it, that one scene, I was making sure I paid attention to those specific scenes, like the scene with the architect, the scene with Merovingian, because I wanted to have a very clear understanding. Because I too was confused in my first couple 100 times watching it. Like,
right.
What in the actual fuck is being said here? And if I'm not mistaken, what's being explained to everybody is this is how the Matrix works. We can control things. We are entities within the Matrix that also have our own existences, and we do things how we choose to do. And we may also have our own internal conflicts with the way our creation and the things that surround us work and how they are. And showing them, also trying to show Neo like that he has power. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that was the reason behind the orgasm cake and all that stuff. Like, I think it's more so like him displaying his power, and also them, the Wachowskis, explaining how this other world within this world that we thought was just like this fakeness, and these people are just like digitally created by the Matrix, and the Matrix is controlling everything, and it's just all connected. But in actuality, these programs live a life
right
within whatever the parameters are that they feel necessary. And if they don't go within the programming, then they can also be considered a threat to the Matrix and deleted. And I think that's all that is trying to explain, and also foreshadowing what happens with, well, not foreshadowing, but explaining what happened with Agent Smith. You know.
Yeah, and I get that, and like I understand that they were trying to show, like, I guess, the quote unquote humanity of a lot of the, or lack of a better word, humanity of some of the programs, and showing that like they do have agency. And that was interesting that they, you know, show that, you know, they're not just these monsters on the hilltop. Like, some of these machines have agency and thoughts and feelings and desires, and maybe not everybody's happy with the way that things go in the Matrix too. But I felt like there's just the pacing of it, just like it felt like it ground to a halt. A lot of moments like feel like the pacing is a lot slower than it was in the first film.
Yeah, but I don't blame the pacing. I blame the music for those things, because I asked you to tell me what you don't like about it quickly, because I was like, yo, you need to say what you don't like about it so I can say what I don't like about it. And because I don't like the music. The music is what messes you up, because it has the grandioso Matrix music. You got the trumpets.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you got the 90s. You know, when they do that shit, that's when you're like, oh, like it's picking you up too high. And there's no like, okay, let me bring you back down, or let me ease you into this.
It's just all like, rise.
Okay, Merovingian.
Right.
I was like, what? Damn, wait a minute. Let me gather myself. I just got through seeing ass whoopings, motherfuckers blowing up, shooting, and then we're just supposed to have a conversation now.
Right. Yeah, and I didn't fully hate the character of the Merovingian. I thought that the actor was doing a pretty good job, and like he had some funny lines and stuff. He's clearly having a lot of fun. But I felt like even the scene when Monica Bellucci is talking about love with Keanu and Carrie-Ann Moss, even though there was a makeout session in the bathroom, it was also weirdly sexual. I thought that sort of did a better job of showing, like, you know, the passion of these characters, and also you know how jealous she is and angry she is with her program husband. I thought it did a better job
of showing. And then they were just
right. I thought it did a good job of showing how
changed your mind.
Humanity. No, I'm not saying I didn't change my. I said I like that scene, but all that other stuff, the orgasm.
I changed your mind. I changed your mind. I said all those things. And now you said this. That's what happened.
Yeah. But
no, I mean, look. Like I said, when I first saw that scene, the whole shits. I thought, I don't know what the fuck they talking about, but this is cool. This is cool. Look at Morpheus. I need a jacket like that. That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, this is really cool. This is a cool movie.
It definitely like just looks cool as fuck. Like,
yeah, that's why it's a good movie.
And I think also other scenes like the Oracle, which, gosh, R.I.P. to the actress who played the Oracle. I forget what her name was. I should have looked it up, but you know, I'm stoner. I'll be forgetting shit. But yeah, she did such a great job in this. Her scene with her and Keanu, where she's explaining different things like ghosts, vampires, and subtly explaining why Smith is like still around. Saying how some programs just don't do what they're told.
Right, but see, that was the Frenchman was foreshadowing that.
Well, that happens. I think that happens after that scene. Like they meet the Frenchman after that scene.
Do they?
Yeah, because Oracle's the one who tells.
She was foreshadowing what the. I'm telling you, it's all foreshadowing. It's all foreshadowing. By the way, the battle in the third one. And so the third, I know we're not talking about the third movie right now, but the third one, the ending. All of this was foreshadowing the ending. Like, hey, look, you got a big problem here, Matrix. Right. You got this goddamn thing you can't get rid of, and ultimately he's going to destroy you. I can help you out. Gotta make a deal.
Yeah,
so,
she also
I think
subtly...
all these parts were very integral in the storytelling.
I thought that. I just thought that the pacing was just a little weird in certain scenes where they spent a little bit too much time on like philosophy and just like talking about just philosophy of passion or totalitarianism or the difference between choice and destiny rather than just like moving the story along.
Well, I mean, that is the story.
I mean, no, I get that that's part of the story, but obviously there's a way to do it. Like, because I'm not like some master filmmaker. I'm not trying to write a better movie, but like I'm just saying, it's clearly that those ideas moved a little smoother in the first movie than in the second one. Which I mean, got to be a lot harder.
I just feel like that's how you feel. I feel like people who feel that way because it was the first one. There was no textbook on how it should be paced.
No, definitely not. I mean, but you know when you're feeling
and then the second one, now you're like, oh, well, what's going on? I think this is so stupid and nerdy for me to say. I think everybody should watch all three at the same time. Anyone who feels that way should watch all three back to back to back. Like
watch them at the same time on 3 different screens.
Yes. No, I changed what I said. You can't change my words. I think everybody should watch them back to back to back, like I did, and I don't think you'll feel the same way about the pacing. I think you'll actually feel like the second one needed that little slowdown so that you can understand what the hell is going on, because the first one moves you so like quickly through this world, and like you have very little understanding or explanation as to what really is going on. Right. And then you need that explanation in the second one, that pacing and that slow, if you will, like you said, is just halting type speed. You need that to absorb what's going on. And then in the third one, it picks right back up, like boom, and it's like nonstop until the end, essentially.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like
it's almost like if you watch all three of them, it's like Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 instead of movie 1, movie 2, and movie 3.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it definitely, all three of them together do work just
so
as
if you have 10 hours
structure.
to watch a movie, I don't know how long that is, but that was a long time. I did that. I did it.
Well, to talk about a few things that I did like about. Well, actually, first of all, just to talk about like what's happening in this movie. Wait, what?
I said let's get to these weird questions, but yeah, go ahead. What was happening in this movie?
In this movie at the beginning, the revolution is in full force. Neo's out here saving folks, and at the beginning, Neo's trying to get a message from the Oracle. And Oracle is basically telling him that he needs to get with the Keymaster or the Keymaker.
The Keymaker.
So he can get to the source, so he can destroy the Matrix, I guess. And he.
No. It wasn't destroy the Matrix.
Or not
save Zion. I noticed that when I was like, nobody ever says destroy the Matrix. Like nobody. It's always save Zion.
Right.
Because I don't think the Matrix can be destroyed. Hence that conversation that Neo has with little councilman dude, chairman dude, or whatever.
Right.
And he's like,
where they're talking about the illusion of choice.
And yeah, the machines. We need the machine. They're talking about how these machines keep us alive, and other machines are trying to kill us.
Right.
Like, I think maybe that was kind of just foreshadowing, what would be coming to fore. Like I said, in the third movie, and now what's coming in the fourth movie is that we have to coexist in some kind of way.
Right. Yeah, like they didn't. Obviously, you don't have to have 45 minutes after the end at the end of the Matrix Revolution to see how they built their well simulated society of machines and humans. But
right.
There is like a little, like you said, the little foreshadowing there where he basically hints that at some point they're gonna have to figure it out.
Just so you guys know out there, I find foreshadowing to be like the baseline for whether or not the writers are good. Like you can't have a good script if you're not foreshadowing something, and like that's effortlessly foreshadowed. Not like, man, when I get out of here, I'm gonna change my life around, man. Buy a farm. Man, yeah, man. I'm gonna get this money to my auntie Denise, man. She used to help me out when I was a kid. And then that nigga dies, and then they give all their money to after the heist is over, they give all the money to his aunt. Start a restaurant, name it after him.
Yeah, you already know who's not showing up in the third act when they start talking about what they're gonna do after the heist.
Right. It's like, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. But so yeah, don't know what I don't even know why that makes any sense to what we were talking about before. I don't even know what we were talking about before.
If you know what we were talking about before,
I drank some tequila just then while I was talking. I think it made me drunk. I think it did. I swear to God, America, I was not drunk, and then I sipped that. So what happened to Tank? We're just gonna let's move on past that. What happened?
Yeah, so that's very interesting. What happened with Tank? It's interesting because in this movie they were just like, yeah, Tank and Dozer died in the last movie. You remember how they both died? Even though clearly only one of them died.
No, but they didn't say. Did he say that? Did he say that? Did Link
they didn't
say
that
they both died?
They both died in the movie, but they said that they were both dead. Yeah.
No, I don't remember them saying that they were both dead. I just remember them saying, like Tank. I remember them saying their names because his wife was their sister.
Right.
But I do not remember them saying that both of them were dead. I do not remember that. And that's why I have a theory on what I believe actually happened to Tank.
Yeah, I'm curious what your theory is there, what the character is.
Oh,
like,
yeah. But first,
well,
let me tell my theory first.
Yeah, go. Yeah, I'm curious to hear your theory.
You can
first,
tell
actually. I'm very curious.
the country, the world, the universe, what actually happened.
The real world.
Right, the nerd world. I have a theory that within the Matrix universe, Tank didn't die on camera, but Tank died like from his injuries later. Like he was fucked up.
He was fucked up.
So I just think that like off camera he had that last and
yeah, it could be. Yeah.
But
it could definitely be perceived that way because they had that moment where he was like, I think it was Trinity who looked at his injuries. He was like, and it looked fucking bad.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna die. My brother's dead. I'm gonna die. I'm okay.
Right.
I'm happy about
yeah, if it was any other action movie, like if you saw him like in the third act and he was just like slumped over later after he finished like one last thing, it would, everybody, it would make sense. So I would accept that. I would accept that for a death for him. It would have been cooler if it would happen on screen.
Would be cooler if it was actually the truth. So
yeah.
What did you?
If it wasn't just a retcon.
What were you able to find that actually happened?
So apparently there were some breakdowns and negotiations with the actor Marcus Chong, the actor who played Tank, and the studio and the Wachowskis. He was apparently trying to negotiate to get $1 million for two film Reloaded and Revolutions. They were trying to pay him $400,000 for both, like basically $200,000 each, which is, I mean, to be fair, that was a lot less than everybody else was getting.
I have no idea what everybody else was getting. So
I guess I don't really know how like much people should get paid compared to like Keanu Reeves versus like
I think it has to do with how many
actors.
words you say in the movie.
Probably something like that.
I think when you're like negotiating these things, I believe that's one of your negotiating tools,
right?
Whatever you say in those,
right.
Whatever the words you use. America, the tequila. I'm telling you.
I for whatever, however things broke down, because like there's a lot of he said she said on exactly how things broke down, because Wachowskis claimed that there was a breach of contract and all this stuff with his behavior.
Whitey.
Yeah, it does sound like typical Whitey business. But yeah,
I know Hollywood's racist. Listen to the end of this story.
So I mean, yeah, they basically just wrote him out of the second and third film,
according to the
according to the Guardian.
Guardian.
Yeah, like in May 2003, the same month that Matrix Reloaded hit theaters, Chong filed a lawsuit against Warner Brothers Pictures, claiming that the Matrix directors and franchise creators Lana and Lily Wachowski breached a 1998 verbal agreement. So yeah, they just basically wrote him out of the movie, and he has his own documentary. He has like the actor Marcus Chong, which apparently is the adopted son of Tommy Chong. Did not know that.
Get the fucking flying fuck out of here! Is that nigga Mexican?
Yeah, adopted.
See, and I was thinking, how the fuck he Chong Mexican Chong, the nigga Chong, Mexican.
Right?
But and when you said his name was Chong earlier, I was thinking. You said it off mic, and I was like, "Oh, that's racist. That sounds racist." And then now I see the light. I'm sorry, y'all. Tequila is hitting me. God damn. I don't know. Oh no, I'm not gonna keep using that as an excuse.
But I would advise any of you guys out there to just like check out his documentary. He has like his own YouTube channel,
dude,
where he has
I'm looking it up right now. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I'm looking it up right now.
It's very, very in depth. You can make your own, I guess, decision on how that went down.
What's his name again?
Marcus Chong.
I'm looking it up.
But yeah, and then the movie moves along. Speaking of like Link and everything that's going on in Zion, what did you think of Zion and like our first look at how people live in this post-apocalyptic world?
Excuse me.
Everybody got wearing the same sweater.
Well, it was very interesting. I think whomever was in charge of wardrobe, we could probably just look that up really quickly and give them a shout out real quick. But I think whoever was in charge of wardrobe, I think that they need to get into a office with a lawyer and sue the shit out of Kanye West. He completely stole all of their shit. It looked like I was watching a Yeezy convention.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? If you look down at everybody's feet, they're actually wearing Yeezy Boosts. The first ones. No, I'm joking. That's just a joke. I'm just made that last part.
Sorry, I had a tequila burp.
But they all looked. That's what was. Man.
Oh, shout out to Kim Barrett, by the way. That's
Kim Barrett. Kim Barrett.
Kim
Barrett.
Yeah.
Listen, Kim. Kim, my friend. We've known each other a long time now, and I think it's fair for me to tell you as a friend, you need to sue the shit out of Kanye, because that's your designs that he is stealing. He is stealing everything from her. Kim Barrett did an amazing job. I think whoever did set design did a great job. I didn't even feel like I was watching anything low budget all, but you could tell by watching it the second, third time that they didn't really spend a lot of money on those sets. It wasn't a lot of detail, and I thought that was what was the dope part. Like, why would these people have any time to spend on detail or amenities? Like, they just grinding it out, trying to survive underground,
right?
Because it's too cold for them to exist above ground. Like, not just that they're being hunted by these machines, but they're just an uninhabitable planet. And so I liked how all of that was kind of conveyed. Like, they have these scars that they walk around with forever. And then there's even like generations of people who don't have the scars.
Right.
And that is, I thought that was important for them to show, because it was like, humanizing or rehumanizing, I guess, if you will, these people. So it lets you know, like, everybody's not in the fight.
Right. And also showing that, like, I can't remember the word, but somebody had a derogatory term for people who were, like, born out of the pod. Like, there's somebody who was like pod baby. It called someone like a pod baby or something like that because they were born in a pod rather than being like.
I like calling born. People. I call people pod babies today. You know what I mean? Like
you need to open your mind.
I mean, yeah, son, open up your third eye, God. You know what I'm saying? You're like, son, your ass is a pod baby because you walk around all like gelatin all over you, and goddamn your baby legs is wobbly and shit, nigga. You're a fucking pod baby. Your legs is all fucking wobbly. You're walking like a goddamn weeble wobble and shit, nigga.
That would be great if you actually said that shit to somebody like I don't know, like there's like, man, I don't really believe that COVID is real. It's like, man, you walking around with goo on your body. You walking around with baby legs.
In this scenario, who's walking around, who's the COVID?
Oh, I don't know.
Who doesn't believe the guy with the goo on him, or
I guess the guy who thinks COVID is fake is walking around with the goo on him. He's a pod baby.
I'm supposed to. Hey, guy, how am I supposed to believe anything that you got to say, guy? You walking around with goo all over yourself, guy. God damn, son. Hey, you walk around with baby legs, guy.
Like, wait, what?
You got holes in your back, son. Somebody been telling you what to do for your whole life, son. I'm supposed to believe you, son. Shit, guy. Hey.
Like, wait, what are you talking about?
Nigga, I've been alive.
You ever heard of it?
I've been alive for 30 years, son. Living, son. You've been asleep for 30 years, God. What am I supposed to do, God? I'm supposed to believe you? That's the kind of level of conflict that we felt in the second movie, in the viewing of the second movie when they described Zion to us, and I liked it. Also, I like that everybody just has sex. They just like, we have an annual. It's Friday, so when every Friday, if Neo and the Nebuchadnezzar returns, we all fuck.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that it was weird that there was like a orgy of like 50,000 plus people just having sex.
Maybe 100,000.
I liked it that it could have been 100,000. It just seemed like a fucking endless row of people.
Yeah,
but I thought it was interesting that Neo and Trinity were like, "Hey, you want to get out of here though?" It seems like everybody's about to fuck right here. You want to go to a bed
so we can go fuck?
Yeah,
no, I thought that was weird because I was like, "Come on, y'all not going to do anything different?" Like,
yeah, I mean, I
y'all was in the fucking spot. Now y'all want to go to your own little fucking spot.
I appreciate that. It was like, we want to bed.
I'm tired.
Y'all can do this.
Nah, nigga, quit lying. Y'all not tired. Y'all going to go fuck. Y'all going to do the same thing everybody else going to do.
Right.
So I felt there was a little Messiah complex when it came to that. But, that's just me on the outside looking in.
Speaking of Messiah complex, master transition.
You're welcome.
No, it's terrible.
You're welcome.
I was curious about what you thought about
Jesus.
Seraph being.
Oh, I thought you were saying Jesus Christ. Well, I'll tell you what, Alex.
So apparently there's some like nerd shit, like how
who is Seraph? First of all, I'm not that large of a nerd. Okay?
So Seraph,
are those the twin albinos?
Oh no,
that's the third movie. Sorry.
No, Seraph is he's like the Oracle's bodyguard, the Asian dude who Neo fights with. Yeah, for a second.
Now I know you. You cool because I fought you.
Yeah, right. Cool fucking dude. But I'm curious, is he one of the 6 previous ones, as it were? Because he has that golden glow when the Matrix, when the same as Neo does, when Neo looks at him in that like Matrix view. Do you think he's like one of the previous?
He just sees. No, I think he sees programs as gold. I think he views himself as a program. Like I think that's just yeah. So for all you nerds, ask me stupid questions. That's stupid. If you think that he is a former one of the ones who may have sacrificed himself to put himself into the program, and then now he is protector of the Oracle, then you're wrong. You think too much, and you ain't got nothing to do.
I will go ahead and say, when it comes to these movies, there's no thinking too much, because these movies go all over the damn place.
No, they really don't. I mean, I feel like I used to feel that way, but when I rewatched recently, I really feel they tell you everything you need to know. All the questions you have are explained. That's why there are not a whole bunch of like YouTube videos that are dedicated to like trying to explain what was going on, because I feel like there's really, if you really watch the show, watch the movies, really like focus on each scene and not really be getting caught. Like you can't. It's like Christopher Nolan movie. Christopher Nolan does. The reason people get confused during Christopher Nolan movies is because he intentionally tries to confuse you. He creates these moments where things are being explained. Like normally, a film writer tries to like explain the movie to you. Hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're trying to do. But Christopher Nolan goes out of his way to try to do that in a different way. And I feel like the Wachowskis do the same thing. They go out of their way to do it differently and intentionally drop the explanation within a moment that your brain is like being already like attacked by, the different juxtapositions that are taking place, and, the diegetic and non-diegetic sounds, and trying to comprehend these scene changes and explosions and or karate fights and these things coupled with the music just like psychoactively create confusion in your brain. And then once the explanation is being actually told to you, you kind of lose it. And also they talk a lot of programming language in the Matrix. So you kind of like forget. You have to like put your mind into the mindset of a hacker or a programmer. And if you don't think that way, some things will just be lost to you.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. Fair
But I don't think there's any like hidden things.
I don't think there's any hidden.
I don't think there's any unsaid or hidden things in the Matrix.
Well, I guess there are more vague generalities in the third film than in this one. And we'll get to those things in a different podcast. But there are only a couple of things that were just really, I guess, not really fully. They were sort of confusing to me. One of them just being like Neo's powers. I'm very curious of what you think of this. Does he have like full on telekinesis? Because he like stops the bullets, and then he also pulls the swords off the walls with his mind. But he's also not just like flinging niggas through buildings and shit. I'm curious what exactly are his powers. And he also doesn't do that thing where he jumps into somebody's body and makes them explode anymore. I was like, I'll be doing that shit every day.
So, Neo's powers are based on what you can do, I believe, it's based on what you can do. Like, if you were a hacker, you would attack a computer, right? You would like attack a system, and then that system would be at your behest until you were done with it, or until they were able to kick you out of that system, right? And then they would adjust and evolve, or they would, update their firewire or whatever, and fucking like firewall, excuse me, and then like fucking make it more difficult for you to get in there. It would evolve, it would adjust, it would learn.
Right.
That is what I think was happening, because they mentioned upgrades at the first fight scene.
Yeah.
That so it shows you that the Matrix changes and keeps evolving. So therefore, I feel like that's why we feel like Neo's powers seem to be all over the place, but it's based in what he can do anything, but it's based on what the Matrix is adapting to.
Right.
So he may do one thing one day, but he might not be able to continue to do it because the Matrix is adapted. I said,
I do get that to
every single thing has already been explained.
I do get that to a certain extent in like the first fight scene, but like
that's why they did it at the very beginning. No, I understand. No, I'm saying it's not just the agents; it's the entire thing.
No, yeah, I get
so the Matrix, the architect is evolving the Matrix around what Neo did. So I might not have an update for that yet. And okay, so he can do other things, but I ain't got to that yet. If you know anything about computer program, there's patches and updates all the time. So they just haven't gotten to that late. That Safari is working on it, and it's gonna get there eventually.
You should have just hit update rather than add update later.
Right. You waited too long.
There are a couple of scenes, like when I was watching the Matrix Reloaded, I was like, I feel like there's something that's supposed to happen here that I missed, or maybe did I skip a scene? Did I fall asleep? Was I not paying attention? But then I remembered there was a whole fucking video game with like 40 minutes of scenes with like Jada Pinkett Smith that I completely forgot about. It would have been cool to have that integrated with the movie, but I liked how they had the other video game like scenes.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't try to make that a movie or make it like a television show or something like that, because technology was not good enough to do a lower budget version of the Matrix and make it good, and it would have killed everything. And also, I'm glad that that I got a chance to play that game. It was amazing. You know what game they stole all that technology from?
What?
Remember that Jet Li game?
Oh yeah.
That Jet Li game was the first game that actually had all that
like that
fighting style, game style.
That was a really great fighting what do you call it, mechanic. Like that was really great. I think it pretty much set the building blocks for Arkham Asylum.
I think it set the building blocks for what would be all fighting games that, what do they call it, when you can walk around freely?
Oh yeah, like sandbox video games or open world.
Open world. Yeah, I think it really created that, because like there were no open world games like that. I mean, I don't even think they had that term when that Jet Li game came out.
Right.
Funny thing about Jet Li, never did another game. Crazy shit.
Weird decision. Yeah.
Weird decision.
I mean,
revolutionized video games and then didn't do anything else.
Yeah, I guess he thought he was going to start a movement. Well, I guess he kind of did, because he did. You got people like Kevin Spacey.
He was the first time I ever saw somebody using those little motion capture dots and was doing like video game revolutionizing how you interact with the controller. People, if you don't understand what we're saying, the joystick if you pointed it in different directions, you could control the right leg or the left arm, or the right arm and the left leg, and depending on which way you did certain things, you would be able to do certain moves, and that revolutionized. I have to hit left have to go to my left or I have to move to my right. I have to go up or I have to go down, and that was all you could do.
Right.
So, shout out to the Matrix for stealing. I mean, not stealing, but using that technology like the year after and making that amazing video game.
Right. Oh man, they were probably working those fucking computer programmers like fucking dogs.
Yeah, man. If you look at the graphics, it's really shitty. So I'm sure they were working on to fucking death. Because like it looked amazing for back then, but like if you look at it now, it's like so garbage.
It looks so
but
bad.
back then they had to be so fucking difficult to get just what we were able to see.
Mm-hmm. And so to get like there's a lot of amazing scenes in this film. The fight scenes are still incredible. Freeway chase scene was amazing. Like one of the coolest fight scenes.
You said always stay off the freeway
scenes. I'm sorry, you said never to get on the freeway. Yeah, that was incredible. It apparently took 48 days to film that whole freeway sequence, and they apparently donated all the wood from the construction to low-income housing in Mexico. So
where did they film it?
Los Angeles.
They filmed that actually on the 405.
Oh no, they apparently built their own freeway for that.
Oh, I was about to say, there's no way that they had the 405 closed down for fucking 48 days.
Right?
There's just no fucking way. Los Angeles would shut down.
Right? Ain't it a damn shame?
People would eat babies.
Yeah. It's crazy that they gave
QAnon. Q himself would come from the sky with Xenu on him, riding the back of Xenu.
Yeah, it's crazy that they even had the power or money to just build an entire freeway nowadays. Like that's crazy to me.
That's not that surprising. I mean, it was just such a great scene. Let me tell you something. What's your favorite part of that scene? The freeway scene.
Ooh, favorite part? Probably the scene, the part where
too late.
probably the part where the Morpheus pulls out the sword and cuts down the SUV and then shoots it and blows it up. Where he like dodges the truck at the last second, slices it, shoots it up. That's probably my favorite.
Well, I'm check like the biggest moment in the whole thing, other than like Neo coming in and saving everybody. I
mean, there's a whole lot of big moments for sure.
So that's
what's your favorite?
You want to pick the biggest moment in the motherfucker. My favorite is right when you know it's getting real. Like you think, oh man, they on the freeway. This shit is crazy. And then here go motherfucking agent. Oh God. Mm-hmm. But that motherfucking agent jumped. He was like, oh, they think I'm playing. He fucking jumped off that motherfucking thing and jumped on top of another car and just man, I was like, when he jumped on that car, I was like, oh shit, they not fucking around. Because they kind of seem like in the first one, they seem like they're trying not to be like they're kind of be. I'm gonna use a big word, America. They seem like they trying to be auspicious. You know what I'm saying? Like, seem like they not really trying to be disruptive to what's going on for the people who are in the Matrix. But they will take your body over, apparently, like, if they need to. But, like, for the most part, they try not to be disruptive. But they showed, look, I don't give a fuck about none of that.
Right. Yeah, they're dealing with big stakes here, trying to get the keymaker and make sure everything that they know,
because he's a deviant.
Fall apart. Right.
For all you Eternals fans, he's a deviant, and he is a program that needs to be deleted. He's decided to go outside of his programming. The keymaker.
Right.
Who dies? Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert! Yeah. So we get to the hallway with. The never-ending hallway of doors.
The never-ending Smiths of Smiths.
And the Matrix the Matrix. Neo, Jesus Christ.
He is the Matrix. You sound like an old 65-year-old black man.
Yeah, right. Man, I loved it when the Matrix had kicked that man.
Remember when the Matrix was in that movie with Remember when the Matrix was in that movie where he was a surfer? I liked it, that one.
I like that Matrix baseball movie.
Remember when the Matrix was in the movie with Morgan Freeman? Man, the Matrix be acting. Now that nigga mad. That's my white nigga right there. You know the Matrix is Asian.
And you know it's funny that you say that because like I remember like, it's like 3 or 4 years ago when I like actually I guess came to the realization that Keanu Reeves was half Asian. And now it's just like, how in the fuck did I not know the dude was half Asian? He's so clearly Asian. You can look at his face.
His name's Keanu.
Look at his hair.
I will say this: he is certainly more Asian looking the older he gets, and like he looks like the nigga from Squid Game, the lead character.
Oh yeah, the main guy. Yeah.
And the older he gets, like he looks more and more like an old Asian dude.
Right.
So I will say that it may have been like, I mean, it's America. America told you he was white, so you thought he was white.
Actually, yeah.
That's
yeah,
not your fault. It's not your fault. Black
true.
Man.
No,
The white man is the devil. No.
Yeah, Hollywood told me that Tony Shalhoub was Mexican too.
Right.
Me and Millie were watching a movie the other day, and Tony Shalhoub was doing a Mexican accent. I was like, they didn't have to make this nigga do this. This dude is Jewish as fuck.
Tony Shalhoub is not Mexican. What's that dude from Portlandia? They told you he was white.
Right? Yeah. They told you.
I think they told him he was white.
Right.
I don't think he didn't know. He was like, wait a minute. Y'all just gonna tell everybody I'm white? I'm the first Puerto Rican. I'm the first Latino on SNL. This is crazy.
This is wild. Y'all ain't gonna tell nobody?
I think he might be the only Latino to ever be on SNL.
It's Horatio Sands.
Is Horatio Sands actually Latino?
Yeah, Horatio.
No, I don't think he's Latino. I think you can be white and I don't know if his family claims that they're Latino. Let's put it like that.
I mean, well, yeah, that's a whole other thing.
I got friends who got Mexican last names, Latino last name. Doesn't mean that they Latino.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Horatio Sands. Yeah, nigga, get out of here. Horatio ain't even motherfucking Latino name necessarily. It could be goddamn just European. What if that nigga's from Spain? That ain't Latino. Fuck out of here. But anyway, what are we talking about? So movies.
So
we're talking.
So Keanu. So Matrix gets into the.
So look. Let me tell you something about Matrix, man. He be with some bad women.
So he makes it into this door where the architect is, and this is like, I guess, the scene that divided a lot of audiences. Very famously parodied by Will Ferrell. But yeah, the architect scene. What are your thoughts on the architect scene?
Well, there are a couple of things that I will tell you about the architect scene. I feel that this is an anomaly that has taken place over at what your rate you would call 6 times. Vis-a-vis a plane. Pain in my ass. I loved it. Nigga, I was like, ooh, look at Colonel Sanders is the architect. Oh, Colonel Sanders. I really, not gonna lie, then and now, it made me hungry. I could really go for a 2-piece with biscuit, mashed potatoes with gravy.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Like right now.
That costume choice was very interesting. I don't know if it was
fucking nobody said, yo, that nigga look like Colonel Sanders. You cannot tell me nobody said on set.
I think it was a choice to make him look like Colonel Sanders and Oracle look like fucking Aunt Jemima. And have them be like, have them be the mother and father, like yin and yang.
Why did the last Oracle kind of remind me of Harriet Tubman? I don't know why.
Yeah.
But it's like, what are they going for? Like, we're freeing these people, so we're gonna be like Harriet Tubman. I don't know. I read a lot of symbolism. I will say that I don't do too much thinking, like overthinking what's going on in the Matrix when I'm watching it, but I do enjoy and analyzing the symbolism because there is a lot of symbolism.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Capitalism being an issue.
Yeah.
AI advancement. I was about to say. I was about to start talking like this. AI advancement. What's not, and we feel these things are imperative when trying to embark upon explaining the human condition.
Quite.
That
it's funny that you put it that way because one of my gripes with this scene is that there is the exposition is vital, it's necessary, but the way this motherfucker is talking is so boring.
Let me tell you something, Alex. The exposition is imperative, and the way that this motherfucker is talking is so fucked up. Now, see, I just said everything that you just said. Way faster, way more efficient, way more machine. You see, he was doing an interpretation. He's not a human being, so he cannot talk like you talk. And everything has to be a matter of fact, not have any insinuation or any inflection of lack of understanding or what do they call it? Uncertainty. Uncertainty.
Yeah, he just sounded like Mojo Jojo to a certain extent. Because after a while,
ooh, Mojo Jojo.
After a while, it went past preciseness.
Why not just start thinking about I Am Weasel right now?
I am Weasel.
I are Weasel.
Google
that, young kids. You Google.
It was weird that it felt like it went past preciseness until a point of repetitiveness and boredom. Because I get that they were trying to make him very different than the Oracle because they're the mother and the father of the Matrix essentially, and she's very laid back and talks very different, very chill, very down to earth, and he's very elevated and posh and old white asshole. He gives off that vibe, but it was just I feel like the way that the dialogue was worded, obviously it alienated a lot of the audience. So I think that it was not a great choice for this third act and this pivotal moment.
I think that in writing, you cannot sacrifice your story for the stupidity of your viewer. And not to say that you're stupid or anybody who doesn't understand it is stupid, but it's just like if you just because they may not understand what's going on or why you're doing certain things, you should not sacrifice your story. Hold on, let me finish what I'm saying. You shouldn't sacrifice your story for a better or easier experience for the viewer. It should, just like in comedy, stand up. It should be uncomfortable for a period of time for whoever's watching in certain areas. It should be to a certain degree. Now, I think, to your point about how they made him more, like we were talking about, how he made him more analytic sounding and made him very precise. I think it speaks more to the fact that you're forgetting this. If he's the architect, that means he's technically the first AI. He may be the one that wiped out the planet. He may be the one that that humans were trying to wipe out by nuking the planet. So, because as they say, we don't know which one. We don't know if it was us who struck first or it was them who struck first and nuked the planet into oblivion. But you have to assume that the architect is the one that was attempted to. So he is basically like a zeros and ones machine. He is not a program, so he has no personality.
Right.
He is just it.
Right.
He just is. He's not. So that's why I feel like he did a perfect job, and he did an amazing job, and they did an amazing job of directing him to do the job that he did.
I mean, fair enough. I mean,
Nobody want to. Come on, give me a high five, everybody! Boom, 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 boom. I said that really fast. Boom, boom.
Fair enough.
Thanks,
you know,
thank you.
Get that.
Thank you,
And
sir.
I really
Thank
liked
you.
the actor. I mean, obviously it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
It's okay,
so
I
feel
understand
like
it, but
could
you
have
know,
been a little
I
bit
don't concern myself with how things rub other people the wrong ways. People are
I mean,
stupid.
yeah, but
So,
at the end of the day,
mean,
you are making movies for other people, not just yourself.
But look at the
So-
best movie makers. The best movie makers. Your favorite movie makers. Let's just put it like that. Your favorite movie makers choose not to care about those things when making a movie. They completely ignore those things, and they make and are considered some of the best movie makers of all time.
I think, well, at a certain extent, you can't completely ignore those things because, again, you're making a movie for somebody else, not yourself. You got to consider how the audience is going to perceive it.
Yeah, but you don't sacrifice that for telling. You don't sacrifice this telling of your story to reach that goal. You just have to tell your story, and people figure it out because at the end of the day, you're still an artist,
right?
You still have a duty to have. It's your duty to put what you're feeling and what you're interpreting out so that someone can then interpret it. And it doesn't matter if it makes them feel uncomfortable. That's actually supposed to be an added bonus to the art as an artist.
I mean, yeah,
because the fact that we're sitting here having this conversation, if it was a movie that everybody just felt and walked out of and went, I completely understand everything that was going in that movie, and I don't have to have any conversations about it ever again, then the movie didn't do the job that it was supposed to do.
Well,
because we're not sitting here having the conversation about it.
I mean, there's movies that people understand that they.
But you don't have a conversation about it for 30 years. That's what I'm trying to say. If you want to make a great movie, Star Wars, like you said, Star Wars fans are the Star Wars biggest haters.
Right.
So,
but
it's the same. You don't create this juxtaposition between fans if you don't have these elements. That's why you have to create something. When creating these stories, you have to not sacrifice for the benefit of trying to make it more easily understandable for everyone.
Right.
Because some people just aren't going to get it.
If
you're writing a great enough story, is in my opinion.
Right. Fair enough. I didn't think that it was hard to understand personally. I can see how some other people couldn't.
I'm not talking about you personally.
No, yeah.
About, there are people who aren't going to understand, like Tenet. There are people who still to this day don't understand what happened.
Right. Yeah, I didn't think it was like.
And they're not stupid because they don't understand it.
Right.
But you can't sacrifice your storytelling.
Right.
For the benefit of those people.
So yeah, then at the end of the movie, Neo saves Trinity from certain
which he was told, or he was alleged that he couldn't do.
Right. And we'll actually have more questions about the end of that, but we should probably wrap things up. We'll probably raise those questions in Revolutions. But like he saves Trinity. They go out of the Matrix, and I keep calling him Keanu. He realizes that he can feel the machines in the real world, and disables some and goes into a coma.
I can feel them.
And he ends up passed out next to. Oh, I forgot to even mention this before. Agent Smith made its way into the real world by.
But you know why you forgot to say it? Because it's so not done well. That's the only problem I had with this movie, really, other than the music. That scene really isn't done well. It's kind of rushed and thrown in. It does come out of nowhere. Kind of comes out of nowhere. You have no idea that that's even his intention to do something like that. And they kind of like it doesn't come out of nowhere. It just happens, and then they never talk about it again until the end of the fucking movie. Yeah. And then you're just like,
even the whole situation that they talk about, where like apparently the ship that he was on, where he sets the EMP off early, and that's what killed the whole crew. Like you don't actually see any of that.
Which I'm glad they did that way, though. But I mean, but I feel like they could have talked about that earlier in the movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not early in the movie, obviously, but like, like a couple of scenes before they said it. Right. I think just positioning would have made that make a little bit, or feel a little less, like the ending would have felt a little less like, oh,
right.
Like, when did this happen? How did this happen? Because you forget about it. By the next movie, a year later, you forgot that this is what's fucking happening. And you're like, what? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This motherfucker right here.
Yeah, shout outs to, and we'll get into this more in the next pod when we talk about the third movie, but shout outs to the actor who played Bane.
Flea? Oh.
The actor who played Bane, the person that Agent Smith takes over in the real world, because until like a few months ago, I thought that was the same actor. Apparently, it is not. It's a completely different actor doing an incredible Hugo Weaving impersonation. But we'll get into that more in the in our third pod.
We will definitely have to talk about this even further, Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, that's solid Agent Smith.
Yeah, I don't look like him though. I don't look like Hugo. I'm not an unfortunate looking ass white man. So that nigga right there, congratulations to him, man.
Yeah,
like,
he's
let's
gotta
make a fucking give him a fucking hand. Because let me tell you something.
He's got a head.
He got a forehead, boy. He got an O.J. Simpson head. Like, nigga, wow.
Yeah, they must have looked far and wide to make sure they found another actor with that head.
So I kind of feel like they found him at like a Lord of the Rings Comic-Con thing.
Right.
And he had on one of them he had them ears on. Would you keep telling me that was before? That was before. I always forget that it was before. I think
it was before. Yeah.
It was before. Orlando Bloom was a child when Netflix, when the Matrix came. You just not. I
thought you were going to hear that. Orlando Bloom.
You think I'm Charles Barkley? Kobe Bryant.
Elijah Wood.
He's a friend of mine. Pete Sampras.
Pete Sampras. So we
Michael Jackson. Hugo
Mortensen. We get a cliffhanger ending at this one. We get knocked out Neo next to knock out Agent Smith, and who knows what's gonna happen in the next film.
Trinity was a knockout.
America,
sure beautiful. Let me tell you something, America. Donut holes. You should only eat one of them. You should eat them in 2 bites. Don't eat them in 1 bite. That's not. You doing it wrong. Basketball.
Basketball good.
The Matrix was a good movie. The second one was a good movie too. The third one, we're gonna talk about that one next podcast.
Yeah. Final thoughts on the on Matrix Reloaded. You got what's your overall thoughts on the second?
Overall thoughts are that it's the most analytically sound like movie. Like, I can't imagine how boring it was to read this script. It's like very efficient. It's done very, very well, and I think I might watch it later when you leave. I think I might watch it again. I've watched it 2 times in the last year.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it
I might watch it
when
again.
I rewatched it.
Also, I didn't know they were gonna do this Matrix movie. This all is very surprising to me. And when the trailer came out, that's when I knew that they were doing it.
Oh, really?
So I'm like, I'm excited. I mean, I sound excited, huh? I don't know. I don't really give a shit about
it's the year of the Matrix.
Look,
all over again.
I am not Keanu Reeves, Alex.
Thank you for pointing that out to me.
Called me the Matrix. I'm not Keanu.
I enjoyed this movie more than I remembered because I was expecting to go into this just like not enjoying it.
I noticed you be talking shit about it.
There's a lot of a lot of the fight scenes were really great, but there were a lot like this one actually felt a lot like The Last Jedi for me, where like I loved a lot of things about it, but there's a couple of things that I thought were kind of dumb. But it doesn't keep me from really, really liking the movie. Loving the movie, I'd say.
Fuck The Last Jedi.
You've gone back and forth on this movie like 4 times. Last time we watched it together, you were like, this movie's not so bad. Why do people rag on this one so
No.
much?
Wait a minute. The Last Jedi is the one. No, I'm thinking Return of Skywalker.
Oh, Rise of Skywalker. Oh, yeah.
Woo. No, yeah. The Last Jedi, not a bad movie.
Not a bad movie.
Not a bad movie. Really good movie. Promising, leading you to believe that good things are to come.
Yeah. We should
Fuck
go
that
through all the Star Wars
movie.
movies one day.
Oh, yeah, let's do it because I'm gonna kill y'all over the head with these Phantom Menace. All in movies, the prequels, they were way better than these last 3 that we just got. So fuck all you who've ever fucking talked shit about the Matrix. I mean, the Matrix. This tequila was really good tonight, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all. Look, let me tell y'all something. Get you some tequila, man.
This podcast is brought to you by tequila.
So
I'm excited to get into the third one, see how we feel about that one, and get into the Matrix Revolution, see how we bring the story back, and see what Neo and Trinity have been up to since they died,
and the Manjavaginian.
Oh my gosh! If we get like the French dude to come back and make
He's
another
in
fucking orgasm cake, oh, is he?
It's not. I don't think it's the same actor, but
that's great.
What is his name? The
Merovingian, I think.
Merovingian, the Mandalorian. I was about to say.
Yeah, the Mandalorian.
Yeah. The Frenchman's gonna be in it. I'm
More
spoiling
orgasm cakes.
Also, what's his name's gonna be in it? Doogie Howser.
Oh yeah,
Doogie Howser.
I did see that Neil Patrick Harris is cast, and he usually makes things better. So,
shout out to Neil Patrick Harris, big fan of the show.
Yeah, big fan of the show, friend of the show,
Neil Patrick Harris.
And thank you, friends of the show, for listening to the Drunk Panthers podcast. We do this
subscribe.
every once in a while, so go ahead and leave a like and subscribe so you can get updates on new episodes of the pod and new video essays from yours truly. Till next time, stay safe, my little pod babies, and may the force be with you.
You got baby legs, son. Come on, God. You got goo all over you, God. You got baby legs, God.
We're making it a thing.
Get out of here, God. Get your baby legs wobbling all over the place, God. You got goo. You got goo on you, God.